Okay, we are live, and our music video is going to.
Boots on the ground, feel the quake. Roaring crowd is more than fake. Sweat and blood as stakes raise high. Lights flash, watching souls collide. Iron grip with a stare so cold. Never break, watch stories unfold. Under that ring lies buried gold. Legends born out in that mold. Power and glory rise up high. Against the odds they always fight. A force unseen can be denied. In the ring heroes never die.
All right, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this, the very first live stream of Power and Glory, the podcast. That's right. I'm one of your co-stars, the Master Amir, along with my co-star, ladies and gentlemen, WCW WWE Superstar Extraordinaire, Mr. Paul Roma.
Exciting times, Amir. Exciting times.
It is exciting times. This is a first for us. So, enjoying this live stream. This is for all of you, our loyal fans. This is the questions and answers. You've been waiting for it, and here we go. But first, before we begin, Paul, what do the fans need to do?
Well, very important now. And I know some of you know this, and there's new ones that don't. You got to march on over and hit that subscribe button because that's what we love to hear and we love to see it happen.
Yep, absolutely. Hit that subscribe button, hit the likes, and share with your friends and family. This will be a totally interactive experience between us and you today, but I want to lay down some rules first. I'm sorry, the master has to crack some whips, and but here they are, nonetheless. If you want a shout out and you want us to read a statement, you hit a $2 super sticker chat. If you want us to answer a question live, you donate $5 to the channel. We will spend time answering your question. If you want to donate $10 to the channel, help our content, help our channel grow, then we will go more in depth to the question you answer. And of course, any donations are welcome here. You know, if you want to see more guests, if you want to help us grow, we greatly appreciate that. And Paul, before we continue, I do see at the bottom of our screen, let me plug him in, ladies and gentlemen. Here he is. Here he is, Paul.
Who knew?
There he is.
He
Mr.
showed
Mario.
up.
And we are live for the first time ever.
Yes, we are, Mario.
We are live.
And how do people watch us, Amir?
They're watching us right now on YouTube. It's exclusively live on YouTube right now.
Exclusively live on YouTube right now.
Right now, exclusively live on YouTube.
We are live
Okay.
on
We are
YouTube
live on YouTube
right now.
right now.
That's right, people.
That's right. But soon, in the future, we will be live across multiple platforms. We'll let you know closer to the time on that one. Mario, why are you late today?
Well, the job, you know what I mean?
The job, the celebrity job, the new celebrity job that you've got?
It's the job. It's you know, you got to go do an intake. You know, unfortunately, people get into car accidents, and
Yeah.
they look for a representation. So I got to run.
Yeah, you got to take care of things on that front. Mar, speaking of taking care of things, Paul and I were talking off camera, and I know some of our fans have gotten heated about what Maven has not yet said, and I want to know if he's contacted you personally yet. Has he given you no apology? Wow.
Nothing.
Wow.
I got nothing from Maven. I got, you know, we did get a lot of good responses from fans.
Mm-hmm.
Saying that, you know, Maven should do a retraction. But I haven't got anything from him personally.
Mm-hmm.
As far as an apology or anything, it was just definitely wrong. I mean, he had the wrong person.
Yeah.
So you know.
Yeah.
You know, it's a lot easier to point the finger and it's a lot harder to retract.
Well,
Yeah.
again, too, I might get big league because I'm Mario Mancini. I'm not Paul Roma. I'm not Bret Hart. I'm not, you know, I'm not the Undertaker, or I'm just Mario Mancini. So you know what I mean. Maybe he doesn't feel that I deserve one because I was
Well,
just
listen, it doesn't matter who. Everybody deserves to be, have the wrong righted. You know what I mean?
yeah.
It doesn't, whether you're getting big leagued or not. It's just
Yeah.
not right. Be a man, owe up to it. Say, hey, listen, I jumped on the bandwagon and the bandwagon was going in the wrong direction.
Right.
I didn't fact check it, and I basically ran it, and I was wrong, and I want to retract it. I mean,
Right.
what's so hard about that? I don't
I don't
understand
know.
Yeah.
what's hard about that.
I
Yeah.
no idea. I have
Yeah,
no
it
idea.
is. It's pretty disheartening. And in actual fact, I had to, gentlemen and fans of us loyal fans, I had to remove somebody from the comments from last week's video today because they left a pretty nasty comment, regarding the situation, and they made mention of you, Mario, and they brought up one thing, and I want to address it just in case that individual is watching. They said, "Oh, well, how come Mario gets to talk about the Undertaker?" Well, that's two different stories altogether there. The Undertaker took the first shot at Mario. So, just again, somebody who's talking, not fact checking Mario, but nonetheless, no matter, I've removed them. They will not be commenting. Anytime they try and comment their negative comments, I will remove them from our comments.
Well, you know, being in this game for 41 years, you know what I mean? Like I'm standing in St. Louis, right?
Mhm.
I'm standing in the corner waiting for the red light to come on. There's a guy in the front row that takes up about 3 seats. A huge individual.
Mhm.
And I'm standing in the corner and he goes, "Oh, who's going to beat your ass this week, Mancini?" You know what I mean? And all of a sudden, Jimmy started walking down the aisle, Kamala, and I look back at him. I go, "You want to come in here and wrestle him? Would you like to come in here and do that?" He went, "Oh, no. No." I go, "Then let's shut up and eat your 7 hot dogs." You know what I mean? The thing is not everybody's going to love you. And Amir, and I'm a great believer in, if you're going to put yourself out here, I mean, I can shut down and just sit in my living room and never come on social media again and just keep my mouth shut.
Mhm.
But if you're going to throw yourself out here, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, if you get it in a boxing ring, you're going to get punched. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Yeah.
you're going to get punched, and
Yeah.
you got to expect that from
Yeah.
people. And
Well,
that's
listen,
that's okay. They have their opinions, and what this person really needs to know is my whole thing with Mark, and I still would like to know if he knows I was there. I was his debut match in the WWF on November 19th, 1990, a couple days before Survivor Series, and he was going to get inducted in the Hall of Fame that year, a couple of years ago. And all I wanted to do was shake his hand for 10 seconds and say, "Congratulations. Glad it was me that kicked that off for you.
Mhm.
I'm really happy it was. Good luck. God
Mhm.
bless you," and walk away. And
Yeah.
I wasn't granted that opportunity, and I thought that I could at least get that respect. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? At least.
Yeah.
Um, but and then making a couple of, he has no respect for jobbers whatsoever, enhancement talent,
Mhm.
whatsoever. He always knocks them, always talks about them, always, like the other one I saw 2 weeks ago that he was doing an interview and he said some jabroni. Oh, are we still allowed to call them jabronis? I mean, like I said, I had a dream too, and it wasn't the one I lived.
Yeah. No, but to your point, Mario, like I said, sometimes people are quick on the draw. They respond or they drop a negative comment and they haven't even fact checked it themselves. And that's one thing that, like I said, Paul, you run a tight ship in your life. I do likewise. We all do here at Power and Glory. So we're not gonna, everyone is entitled to their opinion. That's true. But when they
right.
start getting spiteful and downright too negative, that's when we censor their
Sure.
All
butts,
right.
and that's it.
So let me touch on a couple things. All right. People got to understand this. I've said it a few times before. All right. We get on this show because we have content. We have a lot of things to talk about because we've experienced a lot of things. And we share this with our fans, for lack of a better word, friends, family, fans. right?
Mhm.
All the F's.
Yeah.
We share with them. And there's going to be some fans that will criticize or have their opinion and say, well, they're looking for this, they're looking for that. No, we're looking to come into your homes, all of your homes,
Mhm.
and do that fireside, sitting on the sofa, legs crossed, maybe have a cup of tea or coffee, and just kicking it and shooting it with each other.
Mhm.
That's what we want to do. Really, that's how we want that feeling to be.
Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
let me touch on something that Mark let pass through his mind. Okay, and maybe because he was looking at somebody or a few somebodies that he could beat the living hell out of. Okay, I give him that. What these guys don't realize, what I realize, what Mancini realizes, what you realize is they only win because we let them win.
Mhm.
When I went out and I was beating these guys up, it's because they let me. If you know, and wrestlers forget that.
Yeah.
If you guys were all so tough, you'd have went to the MMA. You'd have went into the boxing ring, and trust me, I saw you guys box when they set that card up and they had the wrestlers boxing each other. You all suck. You guys can't take a punch. You can't throw a punch.
Yeah, that was the
Tell
brawl.
you
What was
what,
it? Brawl for all?
The brawl for all.
listen, I'm going to be in Vegas, and any one of you want to come up to me and tell me that you guys can throw in the ring. I saw what you all did. You were a part of that. I'm going to tell you right now, you and I are definitely going to have words because you guys were throwing punches like a bunch of sissies, like a bunch of amateurs that couldn't get it done. I was it was sad to see. I was embarrassed.
Mhm.
Watch these guys throw punches at one another. I'm sorry. That's
Yeah.
my opinion. I'm sticking to it. And I'll tell whoever was in Brawl for All, I'll tell them to their face. It was, I mean, don't get me wrong. There were one or two guys, well, maybe three,
Mhm.
you know, decent punches. For the most part, overall, the other 95%, 97% was atrocious.
Mhm.
And mind you now, they shouldn't have been there, the wrestlers, the professional wrestlers. But also, again, retracting, don't forget, you beat Mario Mancini up because Mario Mancini let you beat him up,
Yeah. Very true.
let you pin him.
Yeah. Very true.
For everybody down the line. And let me tell you something, I never forgot that. Every one of those guys, those extras, those jobbers, enhancement people, whatever you want to call them, all
Mhm.
right? Whatever you elect to call them, they were there to make us look good. But at any given moment, there were a handful that could have turned and said, you know what? How about if I crack you on your chin? You want
Yeah.
to throw down with one of those guys? Because there were a lot of them that were tough. But
Speaking,
again,
we'll
they
get
made
in.
you look tough.
Yeah, we'll get into some of that, Paul. Just Mario, Paul, adjust your volumes to the full capacity because one of our audience members did just say that my microphone is considerably louder than the two of you. So make sure that your volumes are up so that we can hear you clearly.
Okay, we want to
And
make sure this is done because, of course, this is our first live on YouTube. So we want
yes,
to make sure everything goes right. We're first
yes,
live on YouTube.
yes.
I'm at my max. So if they can't hear me, they
The
need some
Power and Glory
earpieces.
podcast.
We actually did have some nicer comments there.
Okay.
One of our loyal fans here, Rick Howard, he's having difficulty trying to find the super sticker chat. I've never personally used one myself, but I know they are available. Rick, just do maybe a quick Google search. I can't do it unfortunately while I'm here. Some very positive comments here. A fan asked us, are we going to be watching WrestleMania this year? Paul, do you reckon we're going to watch it in Vegas or yay, nay?
Um, I don't see why we wouldn't watch some of it. Maybe it will happen in on the show. All of us go backstage.
Yeah.
But it all depends. I mean, look, we have a full schedule.
Yeah.
Signing, taking pictures. Um, yeah, I mean, running around with all the guys. Maybe having dinner with Steve Austin or something.
Yeah.
But we'll see. I mean, we got a full schedule too.
Working on TikTok.
Working on
Yep.
TikTok, very
Yep.
important.
Yeah.
Very
Mario.
important.
Yeah, Mario, very important. We're going to be working on that. Like Paul said, we're going to be very, very busy in Las Vegas, Nevada. It's still up in the air. Delirium may be performing on the night of the 18th. So I, the master, have to be ready for that one. And of course, the two of you we're going to be together all day that day. So I'm going to be getting very wound up throughout the day. And I'm going to take my frustrations out on those two peasant opponents of Slade and McCallion later that night, but I'll keep everybody posted on that one. But you mentioned something, Paul, about toughness of certain guys, and I thought that's an interesting topic to go into. So obviously, Brawl for All revealed a lot of them are not tough, but in the golden era, to both of you, first of all, starting with you, Paul, who was a real tough guy in the golden era for real?
All right. Well, let me clear something up first. Even though they were in the ring boxing or trying to box, it doesn't really mean they weren't tough. They just didn't know how to fight, right? They weren't street fighters.
Okay.
Let's put it that way. You know what I mean? In my era, wow, my era, you had a lot of tough guys.
Yeah.
So you had Haku, Barbarian, you had Harley Race. Who else?
Rick
Morocco.
Rude.
Who is it?
Rick Rude.
Rick Rude. Yep. I'm sorry, Rick Rude.
Morocco.
Bob Orton, Cowboy Bob Orton. I think I covered. If I missed somebody,
Billy Jack Haynes.
Oh, Billy Jack Haynes.
Oh, Billy Jack.
Hercules.
Steve Blackman.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I think Blackman, didn't he get into that boxing thing? He wasn't that good.
Yeah, he did, but he came back for the Attitude Era. Blackman is the only guy. I remember this like it was yesterday.
And a very nice guy, matter of fact.
But I can't wait to bump into him. I love Steve.
Mm-hmm.
So he a very good guy. So we go to New Haven for TV. And he goes downstairs. And it's his first appearance, first day in the WWF. And I bring him the TV. And he looks up at the board. And he goes over to Pat Patterson. And he goes, yeah, no. No, I'm not losing. Not losing. I'm not losing anybody. I'm not losing. Yeah. So I see him walking with his bag, going to leave the place. I go, where are you going? He goes, I'm not losing anybody. I'm not doing that. I go, you just blackballed yourself from this business. They're never going to use you again. You just So one day I'm channel surfing and I leave wrestling on for 5 minutes. And all of a sudden I see Steve Blackman. I went, oh, I was wrong. I was wrong. He's back and he's over. So,
Yeah. I want to remind, gentlemen, we've got a bunch of new viewers that are joining us right now. So I want to remind them again, if you want your questions answered live, hit those super stickers. We're looking for donations here. We're building our content. We want to bring you even more bigger guests and more extravaganza. So if you hit your super stickers, we will answer your questions live. Just wanted to plug that in there. Sorry, excuse me, gentlemen.
Yeah, no. If I miss somebody, Mario, I'm glad you tapped me on the back on a couple of those. I apologize. And then you have people that you wouldn't think would probably avoid a fight for lack of a better reason because he didn't want to hurt somebody, and that'd be somebody like John Tenta.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean. There's a guy you wouldn't think he'd be like, and walk away from it. But you have the from Texas there, the tag team.
Which one? From Texas?
Yeah, he has his own he runs his own school, and oh my God, he's
I'm
gonna
on
if he's
YouTube.
watching this, he's gonna kill me for forgetting his name, and I apologize. Must be my age. I'm getting a lot older now. My
When
birthday's at the end of this month.
Well, we're gonna make sure we celebrate your birthday, Paul, to remind you of that one. So they were a tag team, you say, in the '90s
Yeah,
from Texas.
yeah.
Is it the Von Erichs?
No,
Yeah, I was gonna say that would be obvious. Texas, a
I don't
team
want to give you any more hints.
in the WWF or WCW
Yeah.
from Texas. I'm at a loss. Mario, do you have any clue?
He has his own school. He works for the WWF right now, WWE.
Booker
He's
T?
affiliate. Yes.
Oh, Booker T. Oh, Harlem Heat.
Harlem Heat.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Harlem Heat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Booker was a tough dude.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But again, he didn't. These guys didn't have to. They knew they could throw down, which was great. Like I said, even Harley Race. To me, he was obviously he was an older gentleman to me. But again, the respect.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't want to mess with the guy. He would go win, lose or draw. You're gonna know you've been in a fight. Those are the tough guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're going to be in a fight with one of these guys. And then you get, other guys that you would walk away from, even if, they kind of sort of wanted to fight you or they're acting like they were going, or they got into an altercation with you, an argument.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You want to get out of it before it goes any further, before it goes to throwing blows.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was talking to Barry Horowitz yesterday, and like he said to me, we were talking about this subject, and he goes, listen, I'm not going to, we were talking about ribs. And he said, listen.
Not the kind you eat.
It was never
Okay.
that bad, he said. But if it ever did get that bad, he goes, I'm not going to take that. He goes, I might leave in a stretcher, or I might beat the guy up. I don't know. I know one thing. I'm not going to tolerate it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you know what? Guys like that are tough in their own right, because they're willing to take it, but they're willing to say, listen, when you wake up in the morning, the first name that's going to pop in your head is mine.
Well, listen, it's okay to earn and gain respect.
Hold on
Right?
one second, guys.
Yeah.
One of our fans just said Triple H was not tough. Well, I have you know that my distant relative, Triple H, well, actually, he may not be tough. He may not be so tough. Paul, you've got the answer to that question because you helped train Jean-Paul Levesque.
Well,
Did
listen,
you not?
listen, I worked with him. I'm just going to say this. I've seen and heard of his injuries, and as far as being tough and continuing on in a match, I can't take anything away from that guy. You know what I mean? Tear a quad, tear a pec, and he'll continue on and keep going. To me, that's tough. Now, can he throw down in a fight? That I don't know.
No.
Can he take a good punch? Listen, anybody can fight. This is where people make the biggest mistake of their life, okay? And someone who's a true fighter is going to get, I'll explain it, but they're going to understand this. When somebody hits you on your chin, if you could take that, now you got somebody that can throw down with you.
Hmm.
But a lot of guys, that's the problem. They got a glass jaw.
Yeah.
They can't take that hit. They just can't. They're going down like a sack of potatoes.
Mm-hmm.
So while you might have the will, it doesn't mean that you got the chin for it. And that's where a lot of guys make mistakes, right? I'm going to fight you. Okay, boom, you're gone. Have a nice sleep.
We
You know
had,
what I mean?
Yeah, we had another fan ask us right now, can he throw down for real? Haku.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Haku was legit. The story I heard, and whether it's true or not, Again, it went through the locker room, and this is one of the stories. So he became King Haku because there was a challenge on his island, and in order to be King Haku, you had to beat all the challengers on your island, whoever came and challenged you in a fight.
Yeah.
And word has it was that he did, and that's why he was King Haku. I messed with him in the ring one day. I said, everybody's talking about how tough this dude is, how strong he is. I need to know. So we locked up, and I locked up with him, and I started to back him up. And I was a babyface at the time. He was a heel. And all of a sudden, he put the brakes on, and he started to back me up. And I went to put the brakes on, and he still backed me up. And I said, oh, this dude is strong. I can feel the energy, just the middle of his body. People talk about energy. I can feel it, the strength that was coming out of this guy. And once we broke the hold, I threw a punch at him, just to mess with him because, I had some skills as far as kickboxing and all that. He threw a kick past my nose that was faster than most guys could throw a punch.
Wow.
And I just stood back and I just said to myself, I went, wow, that was fast. This guy's legit.
Yeah.
He's absolutely legit. And I told him that later on when we got done.
Yeah.
How I was messing with him and how he just overpowered me.
I met him last year. I met Haku at the Cauliflower Alley Club. He's a big guy. And you can tell he's one of those guys. He's very stoic. But if you push him the wrong way, he's going to snap. One of our fans did bring up to us, and I am very upset with YouTube right now or whoever it is, because they're saying that the super stickers are not working for some reason. I've seen them work on our channel in the past because I believe Angel gave us a super sticker at one point, and I saw that pop up when we did a non-live show. So I don't know what's going on with YouTube because I followed all the steps. Like we said, this is our very first live podcast. We're using this on StreamYard. So I'm not sure what's wrong on the other end with YouTube because everything should be set up. We've got quite a few people. So I tell you what, the people that did want to slap a super sticker, put your donation amount next to your question. And I tell you what, we're going to do something bold, Paul. We're going to hold these guys to it. Right? We're going to hold them to it. Paul.
Honesty is the best policy, right?
Honesty, the best policy. So you put
I trust them.
You put your donation, what you're going to donate there. Then what I will do is I will put up a Cash App link and I will make sure that you can then send your donation in because we'll keep track of it here. So go ahead. Put your donation amount next to your question, and we'll go ahead and start answering them. And I'm not going to apologize for YouTube. I don't know what the heck's going on there.
Listen, I think we have honest people here, honest fans. You're gonna get one or two that are not going to. If that's what they want to do, let them go right ahead and do it.
Okay.
But for the most part, all the questions that we've ever received, I think we have a great fan base, and I trust them.
Yeah,
Mario,
absolutely.
say you. What say you, Mancini?
About the money now, these people you can't trust them as president.
That's so wrong.
Now, listen,
it's a shame. It's a shame, Roman. I do that to him on text all the time. He's busting gut, man. And it's a shame it's not working. And this is what I believe that the people that tune into this, they depend on the truth here. So their character alone, that they depend on the truth, they have to be honest people because they rely on this for the truth.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Here on Power and Glory and in Hey Roma, it's the truth. So we're going to give them the same respect back.
Yeah, exactly. We'll give you the same respect. So again, put in the amount that you're going to donate. And we'll go ahead and answer your question. Paul, I did want to touch you. You mentioned John Tenta there, Earthquake. Now, earlier this week, our partner in Justice, right there at the bottom of the screen, Mr. Mario Mancini, sent me a video, actually, of you working John Tenta before he became Earthquake in like a lumberjack suit.
Yeah, I thought they may have, it slips my mind. They may have been calling him like a lumberjack or something like that before they, put him in as Earthquake and all that other stuff. But he was a pretty limber guy. I mean,
Yeah.
he took an arm drag from me. I wish he would have bent a little lower on that leapfrog, but yeah, it was.
That was a big leapfrog. We got a question here, right here from one of our fans here. He goes by the name of OE. He says, Paul Roma, what's the funniest Mario story you have? I need to show that again. 1 second here because that popped off the screen. This thing's got a little bit of a lag here. Bear with us. As know you guys have known each other for a long time. What's the funniest story of Mario you have, Paul?
Ooh, listen, you don't have enough donations in your pocket.
Okay.
All right. I mean,
I have it though. I have it.
Mario will always create something.
I have it. I have it.
Well, let me see if it's the same one.
It's
I
gotta be.
personally think, is it New Haven Coliseum? Really?
No.
You
Well,
think
that's a close second.
That is when someone says that's the first one that pops into my head.
There's two of them.
The second one that pops into my head is the day that we went into HOP's room, and you bombed it. But other than that, what was yours?
Buffalo.
Oh my God, Buffalo! Wow, yeah. So all right, so I'm still going to go with I don't know. I still got to go with New Haven being up here, and I got to go with Buffalo being over here. So I'm going to give this guy both stories.
All right.
My version of it.
Put your arms up, Roma.
Mario's going to keep his
Here's
version.
the story.
Let me tell you something. No. All right, so here's the version. So we get to New Haven Coliseum. Mario and I aren't working. We got our gear with us because that's what you're supposed to do, right? I mean, we're just young guys starting out, and that's what you're supposed to do. So we put our gear in, and Chief says, "You guys aren't working. Like, what are you doing here? You guys aren't working." And like, "Oh, just in case, Chief, we brought our stuff. Blah blah blah." Okay. So Mario says, "Well, listen, I'm hungry. I'm gonna go get something to eat." So I said, "Well, where you going?" He goes, "I'm going to the Chinese restaurant. That's taboo for me." So he takes off and he goes. So now the plane is late. All the boys, all the wrestlers are late. I'm shortening the story up.
Yeah.
So the Chief comes out and he goes, "Hey, you guys have to go out there." And I went, "Okay." He goes, Where's Mancini?" I went, "He went to get something to eat, Chief, but he'll be back." Right now I'm panicking. We don't have cell phones.
Right.
You know what I mean? I can't call him on the cell phone. So I'm pacing back and forth in the hallway. I'm like, "Oh man, you got to get back here. You got to be back there." So now Chief comes out and he's like, "Listen, you guys got to get out there. Where's Mr. Mancini?" I said, "Oh, he'll be coming any minute, Chief." So he skedaddles and he basically tells me that the plane's really late and Mario and I got to get out there and we got to keep these people busy until they start coming in. So now here comes Mario. I'm standing like at the door. And here he comes. I'm like, "Oh, dude, you got to get ready. We're working." He's like, "What?" And I'm like, "Yeah, we're working. The plane's late and they need us to go out there." And he's like, "I just ate." And when Mario says he just ate and he's like stuffed, that means he ordered one half of the menu.
Wow.
Okay. Not a quarter of it.
Yeah.
Half of it.
There's a lot of Chinese food.
I got this guy. This is going to be great. So he gets in, the locker room, and Chief is happy to see him. So we get dressed. They put us out in the ring. And first thing I start doing is running the ropes with him. And he goes to shoot me out of a corner. I locked the corner up. So he's pulling. And at one point he's going, "Roma, come on." He's like, because I'm not coming out of the corner. And to pull me is taking a lot of steam out of him because he's just been running and all that. So long story short, he gets out of the ring, goes under the ring, blows oats, and all that Chinese food that he paid for is all done. It's gone. It's out of his body. And long story again short, the chief basically tells him that he's going to be cleaning up that mess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
Yeah.
right.
That
Second
is
story.
okay.
Second
Another one.
story, because this guy deserves this. Okay.
Okay.
So again, we're young guys. We pull up to the airport in Buffalo, New York, and Mario says something about basically walking bare ass
It's him and Gino Carabello.
in the car.
Okay.
And
And
Mario.
they look at me and go, "We'll give you $50 a piece. $50 a piece in
Right.
1985.
Right. And they, yeah, that's a
If
lot
you
of money.
if you walk bare ass, not with a shirt on,
into the
bare ass
airport.
through the Buffalo airport and tap your hand on the rental counter." Now,
Now, mind you, he's talking to me. He
Yeah.
does not see that there's a female cop coming
a
up behind him,
female cop.
Okay.
but I do.
Okay.
And I'm trying to keep his attention. And sure enough, Mario, take it
Yeah.
the rest of the way.
So you got to remember something. This airport in Buffalo, it's a regional airport. I don't want you to think I'm walking through LAX
Oh, no.
Okay.
It's
or
regional.
Newark. This is a regional airport. This is like, 40 yards. You go up the escalator, and literally the top step of the escalator, you could reach over and go to the rental car counter.
Yeah, they're
From
right
the
there.
stair of the escalator.
Yeah.
Okay.
So now I'm walking. I go through the airport. All right, bare assed, and the double doors open up to go up the escalator. I go, I'm getting $100. There's a female cop right there, and she stops me. And then Roma and Gino continue to go up the escalator, and going, bye. And of
We're
course,
losing it.
Yeah.
like a 4-year-old, I look at Roma and go, Roma. Because if you're watching this podcast,
Yeah.
okay, you know what Paul Roma looked like in 1985.
Yeah.
Okay, so now he comes down the escalator, and to this day, still don't know what he said to her. Took the female officer around the corner to talk near the escalator, and his hands are going like this and that and that and this. And whether she was telling him I'm special needs or I don't know. So the cop comes back up to me and she goes, "The next time I see you in this airport and you're wearing a pair of shorts, I'm going to arrest you."
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can go. And I went, "Oh, Rome." we got on the plane in Buffalo. Back
Away we went.
Back
Yeah.
to Newark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh, that's a crazy story. But that was common back then, right? You had stuff like that happening all the time.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
we always tried to rip somebody.
Well, yeah.
It was a lot of fun. And this was to me, it was harmless. You know what I mean? I had a young guy here. I was older than him. And he was just ripe for the picking.
But
As the old saying went.
I don't want people to think he was mean, because he did say in the dressing room at the New Haven Coliseum, he goes, "You got two options. Either go into to the bathroom and stick your finger down your throat and get rid of it, or I'm going to make you get rid of it out there." And I'm like,
Yeah.
Roma. I get it right. Now I have to be a heel, right? So we get to ring, the bell rings, and I circle the lock up with him, and he puts both arms down and he stares at me. I go, and you got to remember something. All we have is the finish.
Mm-hmm.
Back then, we didn't sit down and go through every move, what we're going to do with this and that. We winged it in there. So he puts his arms down, and I'm like, I'm ready to lock up. And I'm like, "Hey, what's he doing?"
Yeah.
And all of a sudden he goes, I go, "Oh, he's going to crisscross." I can't drop down. Why can't I drop down? I can't leapfrog.
Right.
I don't know how to leapfrog. I don't know how to drop kick.
Yeah.
He's the baby face. I know how. They just suck.
Yeah.
He's the baby face. He's the baby face. So I'm like, I can't drop down. So we're crisscross. I'm going, when's he going to drop down? When's he going to drop down? And we're going and we're going and we're going. And finally, he drops down, and I go over him, and he hits me with that leapfrog and that drop kick. And I went outside and I said, flat on my stomach on the concrete. I lifted up that ring apron. I said, blood, and went back in there. I remember distinctly too. This is how bad it was. I wiped my mouth with the ring apron,
Mhm.
and I went back into the ring, got my heat up. He made his big comeback, and we went home. It was great.
Wow. Yeah. What a match. I wonder if that's anywhere on YouTube. I wonder if we can track that down.
Oh man,
That'd
I
be
tell you.
interesting to see it. But
Oh,
you guys talked about something there because I want to bring that up because I spoke about this yesterday with Rob Van Dam, and we were talking about how guys. You said it best. Back then, you called it in the ring.
yeah,
Everything was on the fly. There was no
yeah.
such thing as going over spot, move for move for move. Now, the two of you, you're training the future, superstars of tomorrow. Now, do they go in your school move for move before they do a match, or you teach them? Oh, they're
Can't
doing that.
talk to him. Can't talk to him. There's
No.
some things that Rome and I, that over the years, the 11 years at Paradise Alley, I would get all tanked up and go up to Roma, and Roma would always say 3 words to me, and I would accept that and walk away. And I go up and go, they're doing this and they're doing that, Roma, and I don't like the way they're doing, and the way they're doing that. And he just simply look at me and go, let it go.
Yeah.
I go, okay, and I'd walk away and let it go. Let it
Yeah.
go.
Yeah.
They're not us.
Well,
Let go.
it definitely changes the dynamic of pro wrestling.
Oh
I
yeah.
finally, I figured it out. Like when we were having that conversation yesterday, I said, that's what it is. That's why it doesn't look the same anymore because it's
They,
so
yeah,
choreographed. You're saying, Paul?
yes, they changed it.
Hmm.
They did. The World Wrestling Federation changed it. And then WCW, was bought up. So now they can't do it. They can't keep the same thing because now they're owned, right? And they dismantled them. And then you have AEW,
Hmm.
right? And they're going along the same path.
Yeah.
No one, look, if you go out there and you work a headlock, it was an art in our day. Legit, it was an art in our day.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
the people that Mario and I worked with against, they were just great. I mean,
Yeah.
there was nothing more to say. They were just great. Okay, and the trickle down came from the Chief and Arnold Skolin and these other gentlemen. All right, fine. So then that trickled down to us, and then we started to do what they did, and we thought that, man, we were just the greatest thing since sliced bread when
Yeah.
we could get in a match and somebody calls a spot and it goes off without a hitch, and then all of a sudden you understand and you're calling spots and they're going off without a hitch. Now they're giving you scripts
Yeah.
to read. So if the match before you is working a headlock, well, you better hope that your match it reads on the script that you work in the arm, because now they just saw two of the same matches. Yeah, they're two different people or four different people, but it's still the same match because they're working the head. Or
Hmm.
the match before you works the arm and you're going to work the arm.
Yeah.
When we did it, I'd look out and I, like, let's say I'm the fourth match. I look out at the third match. I say, okay, and I walk back in and let's say I'm wrestling Mario. And be like, what's up? I'm like, yeah, we were going to work the arm. They're working the arm. Okay, we'll work the head. Is that cool? Or we'll work the leg, all right? And I'm like, yeah, let's work the head. Okay, done. So now they're done. They come in. Now we walk out and we're going to work the head. So we didn't work the arm like they just got done.
All right.
I mean, because now you're just seeing what? We're working the arm. The third match works the arm. The fourth match works the arm. The fifth match works the arm. And the only difference is the people, the characters that are working it. But it's the same match. How
Yeah.
many things can you do that are different
Yeah.
working the arm? And the people are bored out of their minds.
I think yeah, you hit the nail on the head, and that's what made that golden era so distinct. You had every match was different. It was dissimilar because it wasn't all pre-planned. And if anything, I would think that pre-planning something, it's much like can you imagine if we went through every question, everything we were going to say before we did a podcast, how ridiculous it would sound? It wouldn't be organic. And for me, it's the same thing with professional wrestling. You can't, because you see guys anticipating a move. They're waiting for him to jump into his arms. They're waiting for that drop kick. And then they get up so fast they don't sell anything because they're already thinking about the next move. It's not organic. And then if they
Right.
screw up, they don't know
It's
where to
not.
go. There's nothing.
That's
There's
what
nowhere
makes
for
me
them.
really happy doing this, Amir, because there are a lot of podcasts that are scripted, that are line for line. And,
Yeah.
you know, that's cool if you want to work for Fox News.
Yeah.
But, you know what I mean? Here, like what we're doing right now live, if somebody comes with a question off the top of their head, what's not going to knock us off our game?
No.
We just take it as it comes. So
Exactly.
you know, that's we do the same thing, you know what I mean? So listen, in the past few years when I did lace the boots, you know, the kids from the wrestling school that night, they're like, we going over the match, Mario? I go, you got the finish. We're not going to go over the match. I go, no. When I went to Canada in the 6-man tag team match, they all got together. I got into the circle. I go, you guys let me know what the finish is. And I walked away. I wouldn't take part in the conversation.
Right.
Yeah, and the guy didn't even know a front face lock.
Yeah. I wouldn't take part in the conversation.
Yeah.
And I had a false tag set up, which always works. It's beautiful.
Mhm.
False tags are beautiful.
Yeah.
I had 2 false tags set up, and he couldn't put me in a front face lock. I had to literally take his arms and try to wrap them around. I go front face lock. Face lock.
That's crazy.
Because then you start inching your way over, and just when you're that far apart, the heel, and I'm going, you better get your guys in here, and he's literally screaming across the guys, come in here. Somebody's got to come in here. I'm this far away. Nobody's coming in.
Yeah.
I actually tagged my guy,
Yeah.
and I pulled myself away. And the
That's
referee
crazy.
saw the tag. It didn't work.
That's
You know what I
crazy.
You get this far away. The heel comes in, distracts the ref. I tag. My partner comes in, starts beating up the heel. The ref turns around and goes, hey, I didn't see you tag. And the fans are going nuts because they saw it, right?
Yeah.
It works every time.
Surprise.
Yeah.
The element of surprise.
All the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
The element of surprise.
The people, you know, the wrestlers have lost this. It's
Mhm.
an art form.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
If you
even the
can prove
commentators,
what we
Paul. Even the commentators, Paul. Even they're scripted. They got somebody, you know, telling them what to say.
Oh,
It
I
is.
heard
It's a-
horror stories with Vince in the back in the announcer's ears. Don't
Mhm.
say that. Say this. Don't say. I heard horror stories about him screaming in their earpieces.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, I'm gonna. One of our fans here, Rick Howard, again. He's asked us: is the plan Fridays 5:30 p.m. Eastern going forward after Mania, or will it vary? Well, our typical shows do go out on. Well, they used to go out on Fridays, but now we air on Sunday nights. We're not going to go live each and every week. We're going to scatter it out. We're going to give you guys, you know, a few recorded shows and then a few live shows. We're working out the kinks. We're still getting used to this. So our next live show will be not next week. It'll be the week after that, and it will be on a Sunday. Live shows will not be taking place on a Friday. This is just our first one, and we had to get this in because obviously next week, gentlemen, is WrestleCon. It's WrestleMania week. We will all be in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Las Vegas, and we're staying in Elvis's hotel.
Oh, wow.
Where
you are.
where the colonel had him handcuffed because he didn't have a passport to take Elvis overseas. So we are in fact, there's an Elvis suite there. I would have loved to take a tour, but they remodeled it. So what's the sense?
Yeah.
But, you know, we do have the presence of an Elvis impersonator watching us right now, who happens to be good friends with Ken Patera and Jamie. And after our CD, he ended up blowing our CD's record out the door, the bench press record. So
what was that bench press record?
Our CD had a 705.
Wow, 705.
And Jamie blew that out. So, but we are staying at Elvis's hotel there. That the Colonel had them slaving over. I'm
Mhm.
sure there's going to be a lot of Elvis stuff there. I bet you there will be. And that
Listen,
case,
I may have to do my impression.
I'll have to do my.
You do an impression, Paul?
I'll have to take care of my brother.
Hey, you
if,
know what?
there's a lot
Yeah, I'll
of
tell you
Elvis
what,
stuff there.
fans, if you want to see Paul do the impression,
Hey, no.
no, hold on, Paul. That one's going to cost you $2,500. Here's a sticker right there. So,
Oh,
uh,
that's great. That's
well,
priceless.
priceless, man. Well, while we take a little pause here, anybody who's watching us now, if you haven't already, Powerplex that subscribe button, do it now. Help out this channel, help us grow. Another way you do that is by hitting that like. Another way you do that, and very, very important, is that you grab the share. You share this video across your social media platforms, and you encourage your friends and family to subscribe to this channel too. Okay, fair enough. But now back to Vegas. Paul, what can fans expect in Vegas from us?
Wow. Well, a live show. Whether we get it on the air or not, it's going to be. If it's not going to be live, we're going to film it.
Yep.
So when the fans come up for an autograph, just say hello.
Yep.
You're going to be there.
Yep.
And Mario, myself, Jimmy Powers, so the Young Stallions, Mario Mancini, Amir, the Master, and they'll have questions to ask, and it'll be filmed, it'll be recorded, so that's not a problem. Yep. We're going to have pictures, live photos, action figures, T-shirts. I know, the show's going to have T-shirts. So, it's going to be, we're going to have a great time.
Not to mention,
have a great time.
Not to mention also, Paul, we're going to also have snapshots of all the merchandise we have available because we want our viewers here to be able to get their hands on that merchandise. So after the Vegas convention, we'll be bringing across our screen, probably on our recorded show, the 8x10s that are available, the T-shirts that we have that are available. And of course, you can then order them from us through the podcast. So whatever is not sold in Vegas, you can order here on the podcast. We're going to have our merchandise available all year round, so you're not going to miss out. Signed 8x10s, right, Paul?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
If I may say so, because you can't get these because they're sold out, but Paul Roma has them, and those are his action figures that he'll be willing to sign.
Yeah.
And the only way you can get them is through Roma, because again, if you go on the website, I don't believe they're in the process of producing them once again. I think they're sold out on the site. So
they are sold out.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to have Young Stallion shirts there. We're going to have Four Horsemen shirts there, and we're going to have Glory shirts there.
I'm going to have 8x10s. I'm going to have 8x10s, and I'll be signing your encyclopedias if you come up to me. I'll probably be paying you to sign your stuff. So
what? No.
Wow.
Mario, you're going to come home with less money than you went there with.
I'm going to come home with, no, but what? I do pretty well at these things. It's the hardcore wrestling fan, and you know what? It's so hard for me to hide my emotions. I do a pretty good job of doing that, but it's hard when somebody comes when you're just a human being, man. That's all you really are. And when somebody comes up to your table and looks you in the face and says, "You're my childhood," I'm like, wow. Every Saturday morning, Mario Mancini I'm like, wow. I'm saying to myself, on the outside, I'm going, oh, that's great. I'm so happy. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. But on inside, I'm going, holy mackerel, man.
Yeah.
That's something else. You know what I mean? I really do appreciate people coming up, and as you'll find out, Amir, you'll be going, holy Jesus, are they related? Because Roma and I will get into conversations, and we'll just sit there and talk to people for we're not one of these guys where, here's your autograph next. Hey, they're like,
no.
Yeah. So Mario, I've heard you on a couple other podcasts, and you seem to really like Nina Hartley. Go, oh, you know Nina Hartley?
We understand. We appreciate each and every person, fan or not. And you say, what do you mean not a fan? Well, maybe they don't know us. Maybe they haven't watched us, but they're intrigued and they'll
Yeah.
come up and ask a question. We answer it. We're
Yeah.
not that way.
Two of the most stand up guys in the business, Paul Roma, Mario Mancini. They've become great, friends, business associates of mine over the past year. It's a blessing. And like what you said, Mario, when fans come up to you and they say, "Well, you were in my childhood," and it's true, the two of you were. I mean, you were. I was just having a conversation with my wife, Tink, the other day about it, saying how when you think about it, wrestling was on my TV every weekend, all throughout adolescence. So, and for many people, when they saw you guys, they really felt like your story was ongoing while they were growing up. So you were a part of that, even though you were just in a TV screen. You made such an impression on people. It was, and I'm glad that you're getting that now. At this point, and people are respecting that and coming up to you and saying that. It's great. Yeah.
It
So
is. It's a nice feeling.
yeah.
It really
and,
is.
and what we say behind the scenes, I hope they find interesting, because it's the truth. I'm this close to wrapping up my screenplay, so as we tell the truth here, it's true in there. When Roma first started out, they're like, wow, look at him, and they would say, oh, how did Kurt Hennig beat you, or beat you? It was just like the first night he was there,
Mhm.
the very first night, the night he called Hogan fat. Who's that? That's the heavyweight champion. He's fat. Roma. You know what I mean? He came back to the dressing room after his first match, and he did the job. And this is for the fans. And he listen. I'm not embellishing at all. He's sitting in the chair, going like this,
Hmm.
and I'm going, Roma, what's wrong? What's the matter? He can't beat me. I'm going to take him in the parking. I'm going to see him in the parking lot. I'm going to beat his ass. I'm like, you can't do that. It's not professional wrestling. He can't beat me. Yeah, he can't. I squatted in front of him and I grabbed him by the shoulders and I whispered, take a look around here. Who's got your body?
Hmm.
No one. No one has your body. You got the best body in this dressing room. I go, Roma, you might be doing what you're doing now, but you're not going to do it for long. My exact words to him were, they can't deny you. It's impossible. They
Yeah.
can't deny you. And you know
Yeah.
what?
Yeah, he kept me from getting in a lot of trouble.
They didn't.
Yeah.
They didn't deny me either. It was impossible. It
Yeah.
was impossible. So, you know
Look,
what? It's true.
he does have words of wisdom. To people that will accept them,
And I was
accept the
18. I was
words.
telling them this at 18 years old because I
Yeah,
was there for a few months already, and they didn't deny him. So when the
but
fans
yeah,
come up
but
to
I
him,
came from a. People got to understand something. I came from a life of you fight to stay alive, you fight to survive.
yeah,
And these, I don't think these guys did. Not all of them, anyway. There were a chosen few that did, but they didn't comprehend the way I did.
for
You
one
know,
thing, I'll tell you this right now. For one thing, if you didn't have a good walk, like a manly walk or something, like Roma saw right through you then. I mean, Roma would just sit there and watch the guy walk out in through the dressing room, and he would look at him walking, and he'd know he right off the rip, man.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that, I could take care of that guy in within 30 seconds. Just the way his body movements are, I could take care of him in like 30 seconds. He knew. He would just know by the way you'd walk. You know what I mean? So
well,
Yeah.
when you fight so much and so many people, who has a glass jaw. You know who could take a punch and who can't. You
Mhm.
can look at that guy and go, oh, this guy's done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not even going to hit him in the face because I'm afraid I'm going to do so much damage. I'm just going to avoid this fight.
Yeah.
No matter how bad he wants to fight me, I'm going to avoid it the best that I can. And you can see these guys. They walked around holding watermelons under their arms. You've seen those guys in the gym.
Yeah.
Everybody has, and I sit there and I laugh, and Mario see me laughing. What are you laughing at? I'm like him. He's walking with watermelons under his arms. I mean, what is
Yeah.
wrong with these people?
Yeah.
Walk
Yeah.
normal. Put your hands by your side. You know what I
So,
mean?
so I gotta ask you, Paul, because it's kind of like mentioning somebody every time we come on the air. Ric Flair. What was his walk like?
He's Joe Rogan material.
Hey, listen,
Yeah.
he's Joe Rogan
He's
status,
Joe
baby.
Rogan material.
He's Joe
Oh,
Rogan. But what could you tell by Rick's walk how he
so
was?
I'm gonna tell you how I broke him down. This is how I broke him down. First thing I gave him, um, well, let me retract that before I go too far. So I didn't really know him, and I said this once before. But when I got to down there, when I got to WCW, and I met him, I showed him respect.
Yeah.
I saw him as a elderly man, comparatively speaking. Okay, Arn to me was younger than Rick, and I was younger than the both of them. That's how I saw it. I listened to Rick because he was a journeyman, right? I mean, he'd been around forever. So I listened to him. I didn't understand a lot of what he told me to do because every time I came out of the ring, excuse me, everybody, he told me to do something and I couldn't grasp. He always had an issue with me until it got to a point where I said, you know what? I have no respect for this guy anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt. People put him up on this pedestal, and he doesn't belong up on the pedestal. The way I saw it was like this. Okay, you look at the body. All right, he goes to the gym, but does he really train? Because he's banging down alcohol every night, and God only knows what else. So, and everybody, I don't need to tell you what else because they know. So he's destroying his body anyway. So you walk into the gym, you move a couple pounds, and you think you're training, you're not. All right. So, the lack of respect as far as that went. His thing was partying. That was his thing. And he self-proclaimed. He is self-proclaimed to be the greatest ever. He pushed that narrative.
Mm-hmm.
When he was in WCW, he had complete control. Well, when you keep pushing the narrative that you're the greatest ever, and that's your tagline, then you get a lot of people to start buying into your lies.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what he did. They bought into his lies. So he's been world champion 70 times. Okay. So he's gotten beat 69 times. Maybe 70 now because he doesn't have a belt anymore. So he's been beat 70 times. What does that tell you? You're 70 and 70 in the win-loss column.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a winning record, right? I mean, it wouldn't get you in the playoffs if you were a team.
Mm-hmm.
And so I lost all respect for the guy. I just did, and I let it go. When I see him, I'm more than happy to walk up to him, say hello to him, shake his hand, and then how you doing? Great, and I get on my way. That is it. That is it. That's all I'll do. We have nothing to talk about.
Yeah.
We have nothing in general, nothing to speak of. I don't want to talk wrestling. Hell, I don't even want to talk to you. It's just hello, how you doing? And I'm on my way.
Yeah.
You're still alive, great.
Yeah. No, yeah. Makes sense. We had a lot of great comments come in while you were talking, Paul. Some of our fans think you'd make a great TV champion in WCW. Best drop kick in the business, I see there. Powerplex, of course. I can't, stress that. One of the best, if not the best, tag team wrestling finishes of all time. I see another comment. Nicholas, he asked me, will I be dressed as a blue blood at WrestleCon? Nicholas, I dress very sharply. The master dresses. He is debonair. My suit is worth way over $25,000. And whenever you see Delirium and the Master, you're going to be seeing me in that beautiful suit there. But yeah, tons of beautiful comments coming in from our fans there. A couple of one troll in there, but our fans are taking him out.
What
Taking him out.
troll?
Yeah, they're taking him out as we speak right now. And
That's awesome.
so yeah,
Love our
exactly.
fans. Love our fans.
We
Love
love
our
our fans. We love our fans. We love the seekers of truth and not the seekers of sensationalism and lies. So, yeah. So, but yeah, and also a quick one last question here. I see. When's Mario's Zombie Sailors figures coming out? Mario, is there anything?
As soon as they Frankenstein one.
Okay.
No. You know what? Roma again, always taking care of me. I was actually in Jersey with him, and when they were going over his action figure, and the brother that he is not going to hold back. He goes, "Listen, I want you to make one of Mario." And the guy at Zombie Sailor said, "Well, we can. The molds are really expensive, but if I can do it, Mario, how about I could take parts of other dolls and Frankenstein them together and see if I can make an action figure of you." So
Mario said no.
I figured I was just going to buy out all the Kamala dolls and spray paint them. I don't. You know what?
No,
I would love to have an action figure. I actually pitched an action figure to Vince McMahon, and he actually liked it. He liked at first. He was irritated with me. Yeah. I said, "Can I talk to you for a minute?" What's up, Mario? I went, "Okay, can I get an action figure?" He goes, "You want an action figure?" I go, "Well, yeah." He goes, "Well, what kind of action figure?" And I go, "Well, my action figure comes with 2 paramedics, a stretcher, and an ambulance." And he went, "I like that. I like that." I said, "Well,
it was pretty good."
That is a good idea, man.
Have Morocco or beat the hell out of me, and then take your little paramedics, have the stretcher go into their hands, put me on it, have them walk me away, put me in the ambulance, and take me to the hospital. Yeah. You know what I mean? But he never made it. But yeah, I would love to get an action figure. I was actually Googling that last night, like make an action figure of yourself. You know what I mean? Yeah. But it's always better when somebody says, "Hey, we'd like to make an action figure of you." And, I don't want to play for pay. You know what I mean? It's like, "Hey, here's my action figure. I paid $2,500 to make 3 of these." And you know what I mean? I don't.
Yeah. Well, I did see someone in the comments there. They mentioned the Hasbro and the LJN figures. Well, the Paul's figures are very reminiscent to the Hasbro figures. So again, they're unlimited. Paul has them. Paul's the only one who has them. They will be available in Las Vegas. So if any of our fans
what kills me is it really looks like him.
Well, Zombie Sailor may have a booth there. Okay. They may have some of them, but I know that I'm going to have some.
All right. So if they do have a booth there, every autograph I sign, I'm going to send them over there and say, "Go over to that booth and tell them to make an action figure."
That's it.
Yeah.
I'm going to all the 150 people that are going to come and get my autograph. They're all going to go over there and flood Zombie Sailor.
We'll have to have a conversation with Josh. Again, Nicholas was asking, are we going to have a workout, you and I, Paul, in Vegas? Are you going to work out with the master in Vegas? Are we going to do one workout?
Wow. I didn't plan on bringing any of my workout gear.
That's all right, brother. I'll make it up to you. If you're not going to work out with these guys, whoever asks this question, you can have a pizza with me.
There you go.
Yeah, it's Mario Mancini's workout there.
Or the cheesecake. Remember what you said, Mario. So after 10,000 subscribers, every new 1,000 subscriber gets a cheesecake mailed to them. So we're going to hold you to that.
Every 1,000th subscriber, no matter where you are, because let me tell you something. This is what's called in the wrestling business a shoot. I will get a styrofoam box. I will put dry ice in it. and I will freeze that cheesecake and I will ship it to you. But it's got to be the 11,000 subscriber, the 12,000, the 13,000, the 14,000. Anybody who lands on 1,000, I will ship a cheesecake to you.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Wow.
All right. Well, I think we've reached the top of the hour. Thank you to all our loyal fans here. Like I said, apologies. We had a troll in there, but I think our fans are taking care of that guy
Love our fans.
or gal, whoever it is. But we will be back. We will be live in Las Vegas. So come over and join us. If you are there in Vegas, come and have a word with us at our booth. Yep. Paul,
come
you
and say
got it?
hello. Yeah,
Yep.
come and say hello. You know, I mean, we
Well-
want to see our fans. You guys get to see us, and we don't get to see you, so we'd like to see you.
Mario, any closing statements from you this week?
No, I just like to tell Peter that I'm probably going to be going to the grocery store and a couple other places. So keep me updated on the Yankee game, Pete. You know what? I love this. There's nothing more I love more than doing this live. It's fantastic. I understand that Amir is the master, and he is our producer, and we will do what he would like us to do, because he's a great guy to work with, and he's very fair, and he's very fun, and he's a good friend,
And
But
very
I do-
professional.
I'm very
you,
professional,
sir.
and I love going live, but we will follow his lead and go live when we go live. So, I just appreciate all the fans watching, and I'm really excited for Vegas next week. And I'm really looking forward to our TikTok journey.
Yep.
With my friend coming in from Arizona, and hopefully, we'll be all up and running on TikTok. Very talented woman. So hopefully we'll all be up and running on TikTok when we get back to Connecticut and you get back to California, and our lives will be something very different.
Yeah, our lives will be across. Like I said, we're going to try and have it across the Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. We'll go live on all three platforms, and we will entertain our loyal fans. Not the one troll that we've had in here today.
I said, man, you got to expect it. Not everybody's going to love you, and you know what? You never know where it's coming from, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean, Mario. So, all right, guys. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us tonight. Make sure you Powerplex that subscribe button, hit the likes, and share with your friends and family. This has been Power and Glory. We will see you next week.